Welcome to the SKA site and the site induction for staff members and visitors. In the same manner that each individual antenna contributes towards obtaining data from various radio telescopes located on the SKA site, each of us also contribute to the health, safety, environment and overall protection of the site. The SKA site is located in the Northern Cape province of South Africa. The site is surrounded by 4 local towns: Carnarvon, Williston, Van Wyksvlei and Brandvlei. It is located 643 kilometers from Cape Town and 1,100 kilometers from Johannesburg. Carnarvon is 85 kilometers from the site and is its closest town. The Cat 7, Meerkat and Here radio telescopes are located on the farms Meesdam and Losberg. Hyrax, a guest instrument, is located on the Swartfontein farm. Meesdam and Losberg have been declared as the core astronomy advantage area in terms of the Astronomy Geographic Advantage Act, which regulates restrictions or prohibits certain activities to protect the radio telescopes on site. These telescopes are operational and will continue to observe whilst the SKA is being constructed, so interference to these telescopes must be minimized as far as possible by all staff and visitors adhering to the rules of site. The National Research Foundation owned land and the Meerkat National Park are 135,000 hectares in extent, and SANParks is responsible for managing the national park. The 3 SK1 mid-spiral arms are located on a number of land portions secured through servitude agreements. The Clairefontaine Support Base serves as the Engineering Operations Center and is located approximately 75 kilometers from site and 10 kilometers from Carnarvon. It also forms part of the site. The site can be accessed by road or by an on-site landing strip or a gravel landing strip in the town of Carnarvon. First-time staff members and visitors to the site must ensure that a site induction and site assessment has been undertaken, your national keypoint security screening has been completed, and you collect your staff or visitor identification card at the SARAO office all before going to site. These will be renewed by SARAO on an annual basis. Everyone entering the site will be checked by security personnel at the security boom gates. Please ensure that all ID cards and RFI permits for vehicles and equipment are in hand. Access will be denied if these cannot be presented. Only SARAO authorized charter flights will be allowed to land on site. Staff members or visitors accessing the 3 SKA spiral arms must ensure that they have travel maps issued by SARAO and that they follow the access protocols. All vehicles must have company logos displayed on both side doors. Bluetooth must be disabled and have an RFI permit to access the site. Only diesel vehicles will be permitted on site. Vehicles are not permitted into natural areas outside of demarcated construction work areas. All vehicles and baggage may be searched to ensure that no unauthorized equipment entering or leaving the site contains any illegal goods. Lockable electronic safes are provided at the security control point at the Clairefontaine Support Base and at the security control point at the SKA site complex. If you visit the site with electronic equipment such as laptops, cell phones, tablets, etc., you will be required to switch off the equipment and lock it in the custody area for the duration of your stay on site. The use of laptops is permitted in the RFI shielded control room in the Karoo Array Processor Building or KAPB. Please note that SARAO or the SKAO will not take any responsibility for the loss of or damage to equipment or valuables. The site is in a remote location and it can require considerable time and expenditure to arrange and make available loading and unloading equipment, particularly specialized equipment. Transport operators shall ensure that inquiries have been made with delivery recipients and suitable arrangements have been agreed to and implemented for access to and the use of any loading and unloading equipment that may be based at the site. All staff and visitors must abide to the speed limits on site. The site is surrounded by privately owned property where livestock farming is undertaken. The security and protection of the farm's livestock are of primary importance to both the project and the farming community. Boundary fencing will be erected to avoid trespassing. All staff and visitors shall familiarize themselves with the SARAO health and safety policy prior to going to site. All emergency contact details are displayed on notice boards and health and safety officers are on site. They are identifiable by their names and photos displayed on notice boards. Any unsafe activities, incidents or accidents must be immediately reported to these officers. Anyone is allowed to stop any unsafe activity observed on site. The correct PPE equipment must be used in designated areas. These may include safety boots, safety vests, hard hats and earplugs. The Karoo is a semi-arid area. Do not expose yourself to heat for long hours, as this may cause dehydration or heat stroke. Please wear sunblock at all times and drink plenty of water. During winter, please ensure that you wear warm clothes. At times, you will hear thunder and see lightning from a distance. If you are on site and at risk of being exposed, please make your way to the nearest vehicle, close all the windows, or go to the nearest building that offers shelter. If you have not been trained to use motorized equipment or any other machine or appliance, do not attempt to use them. No alcohol, drugs or any toxins are allowed on site. Everyone will be subject to alcohol testing on site. These tests can also be performed on request from supervisors. Steps may be taken against you if found guilty of attending work under the influence of alcohol or banned substances. No firearms or any dangerous weapons are allowed on site. In terms of the South African law, no person may smoke any tobacco product in a public place. Smoking is only allowed in designated areas. Ask your guide to show you the designated smoking area. Snakes, scorpions and spiders are commonly found on site. Drivers should inspect their vehicles every time they step into the machine for any wild animals such as snakes, which could have entered the vehicle, especially in warmer months when animals tend to look for shade. Do not attempt to go closer to or remove snakes, scorpions or spiders, as they can be poisonous. Snake removal equipment and training has been provided, so please contact a health and safety officer if you see a snake or any other dangerous animal. All vehicles shall be equipped with first aid kits. Clearly marked first aid kits are also available at Clairefontaine and at the SKA site complex. First aiders are on site and can assist. A disaster management plan and emergency response action is in place to deal with emergency or disaster events that may occur. This includes emergency evacuations, accounting for people on site, search and rescue, and procedures that manage and report incidents. In the event of an emergency alarm with a glass break panel is mounted at the Cat 7 container shed located at the SKA site complex. This alarm will be triggered by the site manager or his delegated representative in case of an emergency to notify all staff and visitors. Everyone shall evacuate to the muster point, which is clearly demarcated outside of the SKA site complex. At the muster point, await further instructions from the evacuation marshal. An air and ground emergency evacuation rescue service is available for major accidents and incidents. There is a SARAO medical clinic located at the Clairefontaine support base, which staff can access. Visitors can also access the SARAO medical clinic for emergencies, or alternatively be taken to the Carnarvon Hospital or clinic. Due to the enhanced hazards associated with animal activity and reduced visibility of poor road conditions at night driving should be avoided unless absolutely necessary. In such eventualities when night driving is necessary, drivers should exercise extreme caution and reduce speed accordingly. The use of the land in the Radio Astronomy Observatory is subject to the statutory terms and conditions defined in the SKA Integrated Environmental Management Plan. As the Meerkat National Park forms part of the SKA site, staff members and visitors shall abide by all sandbox policies and procedures. All environmental incidents and accidents must be reported to the Site Environmental Officer. Site Environmental Officers, sandbox staff, and anyone can stop work if the activity is viewed as a serious threat to or impact on the environment. A number of environmental resources have been identified as sensitive areas. These include habitats that are essential for the survival of rare plants and animal species and are impossible to restore once destroyed. These areas are clearly marked. If paleontological, archaeological resources and burial grounds and graves are discovered, an environmental officer must be immediately notified, and the chance find procedure for heritage resources and fossil find procedure implemented. All non-degradable waste must be collected, removed and disposed of at demarcated areas. Water is a scarce resource and must be conserved as far as possible. No one should interfere or remove any fauna or flora or trap or feed any animals. Any poaching, hunting or killing of animals is strictly forbidden and constitutes a criminal offence. No one should disturb breeding sites for raptors, wild bird species and bat roosts. Bird strikes and the location of the strikes shall be reported to the environmental officer on site. The radio telescopes on the site are operational and undertaking observations. Everyone visiting the site shall abide by the SARAO radio frequency interference cruise site procedure and RFI zones when undertaking any activity on the site. The RFI zone definitions are used when SARAO issues RFI controls such as permits or certificates of compliance that manage where and when RFI emitters can be used. You will need to familiarize yourself with these zones, which are physically demarcated on the site. No equipment is allowed on the site without first obtaining the necessary SARAO RFI permit or certificate of compliance. A list of these devices and equipment can be obtained from the RFI team. If you have any queries beyond the contents of the site induction, please do not hesitate to ask your guide. The SKA is a mega science project which will push the limits of engineering and scientific endeavor over the coming decades. If you would like to review any of the policies, they can be accessed online at www.sarao.ac.za. We wish you an enjoyable and safe visit with us.